We have begun, or we begin today, our topic for the month of August, which is nature. And our theme for today, our talk for today is, it's like an invitation from Star Wars, as I said last week. Earth Force, report for duty. And we'll unpack this as we go along. A little bit of an overview for this month. We will explore and deepen our ways and deepen our awareness of ways to connect with God, as well as with everything and everyone else on this amazing living planet. We live on Earth. We live as one, in harmony with the planet, with nature, with all living beings, including ourselves. And sometimes this is a piece that we forget, that we are living in harmony with ourselves along with everything else. If we believe that God is all there is, then we are to live in a way that reflects this truth. And so let us move from just saying the words that God is all there is to a deeper understanding of how this truth shows up in our lives and to make it a daily and sustainable practice. Every blade of grass has an angel that bends over it and whispers, grow, grow. And this is from the Talmud. And like the blade of grass, our inner guidance whispers to us, grow, grow. And it's in those moments of quiet reflection that we listen to the whisper. There was a local story in the news about nature that really captured my attention. And what it was, some of you may have seen it. There was a photo captured recently at Pismo State Beach here on the Central California coast of a giant white shark jumping up out of the water. The photographer who captured the picture said, seeing a shark breaching the water 6 to 8 feet into the air was purely an athletic moment. It was really cool, he said. You're like, this is impressive when you see an animal that big launch itself 6 to 8 feet into the air. Experts say that it's common for sharks to jump out of the water. However, what was unusual about this photo was the moment that it was captured on the camera. And it was on our local news. I saw it on the news feed on KSBW. And I think it was like the 1st or 2nd of August. But the way the photo was captured, it was like it was perfectly framed. The shark was right in the middle, perfectly framed in this photo. And this is what made it so spectacular. So the question was asked of some of the experts, why do sharks jump out of the ocean? And some responded they may have been chasing fish, or they may be doing this to dislodge parasites that are on their back. And as the parasites move around their backs, it causes itching. And so as they jump into the water column and land on their backs, it may knock some of the parasites off. And there are others that hypothesize that the sharks are simply jumping out of the water because it's fun. They launch themselves out of the water, they land on their backs, or they land on their sides. They're just having fun. And this story for me is a reminder to recognize the oneness of all life that is all around us, and to be mindful of the experiences that are right under our nose or right in front of our eyes, if you will, right where we are. And so we have an SOS this morning. It says, attention all planetary citizens. Earth Force needs you now. Report for duty to nurture and protect planet Earth. And so we begin our series today by exploring the wonder of nature. And we look first at our home, planet Earth. It is a large and undeniable part of our day-to-day existence. And mostly it's something that we take for granted. However, I invite you to ask yourself, do I really pause to recognize and to appreciate the gifts that I receive from planet Earth, from Mother Earth, as it's often referred to? Am I truly aware of how dependent I am on a healthy, vibrant planet for survival? Or what would it be like to have, or what is it like? What is it like to have breathable air and to have drinkable water? These and other questions we may ask, recognizing that everything is interconnected. The outer and the inner reflect one another, including our bodies and the planet. Ernest Holmes offers this primary Science of Mind teaching for us from the Science of Mind textbook on page 68, paragraph 3, where he writes, "The ultimate cause back of all things must be one, since life cannot be divided against itself. The infinite must be one, for there cannot be two infinite beings. Whatever change takes place must take place within the one, but this one must be changeless. For being one and only, it could not change into anything but itself." And so in this statement, Dr. Holmes is reminding us that life cannot be divided against itself, and that we are part of life, and that the same is true for our planet. Life is a symbiotic, organic, living harmony of its parts, including the rocks, the water, the air, plants, and animals. However, in our ignorance as humans, we sometimes lose knowledge of our deep connection to the planet and its inhabitants. We must look no further than the way we treat ourselves, our fellow human beings, and our planet to recognize that we are out of balance and we must reclaim our oneness with life. We must awaken to the knowledge that there is only one life. Only then can we heal the divisions that we ourselves and our forefathers have created. And so to begin to heal these divisions, we remember and we ask. We remember life is always in balance and in alignment with itself. Life is always in balance and in alignment with itself. Look at the various forms of life on planet Earth and how interdependent they are. We can start with the cells in our bodies, recognizing that they cannot be divided against the body. If this were so, there would be no life. We are dependent on the small organisms in the water, in the air that we breathe, in the bacteria that is in our bodies. Plants and trees provide oxygen and food. Animals and humans then use the oxygen and food to survive, while creating carbon dioxide and waste products that fertilize and feed other life forms. So again, we can see the interconnectedness of all life. Water, air, earth are all vital parts of this equation. The harmony and combination of these vital elements are unique and necessary for the survival and health of all. Ernest Holmes writes this in the book, This Thing Called You. "I am guided by the same intelligence and inspired by the same imagination that scatters the moonbeams across the waves and holds the forces of nature in its grasp. We are all interconnected." We remember life is always expanding, growing, and evolving. Life is always expanding, growing, and evolving. The concept of evolution applies to humans as well as all aspects of life. The theory of evolution is based on the idea that all species are related and gradually change over time. Life everywhere is constantly reacting to its changing environments. Is there too much or too little rain? Too much or too little sun? Or is there sufficient food available? These are all questions that we must consider. Plants cannot move around, therefore they are completely subject to their environment. Some plants can withstand reduced rainfall while others dry up and die. And to just digress for a moment, yesterday I participated in the monthly Walk for Health that's sponsored by one of our local health organizations, and we were down in Carmel Valley. I've forgotten the name of the place now, but we were walking through. It's a golf course that is being redeveloped into open space and a dog park and some residential area. Very nice setting. And we're walking along, and there was off to the right of the direction that I was going, there is this beautiful flowering plant right in the midst of all of this barrenness. And it was the petals on the plant were sort of a fuchsia color, maybe a pink-red combination. And of course, I took up my camera to take a picture and go to this plant app that I have to identify what it was. And my Wi-Fi was not working, so I captured the picture, but I couldn't find out what the plant was. But that for me was evidence that even though we have this idea that plants cannot move, that there are forces in nature that take species of plants into various areas where they grow, where they normally would not appear. So the environment and nature is all working together. Most animals and humans can physically move to a more favorable environment, or they may choose to stay and adapt to their familiar surroundings. The ability to react to these changes is a form of evolution. And again, in our Science of Mind textbook, Ernest Holmes offers this on page 193, paragraph 3. The progress of the human race is a result of that process whereby intelligence passes by successive degrees of incarnation through evolution into the human mind. So the environment that we live in, the plane that we live in, this life that we express is not static. It is forever changing, it is forever evolving. And as intelligence passes through the various degrees of incarnation, it outpictures into the human mind. And now we ask, what is your definition of life? What is our definition of life? If the first thought is of humankind, that's a start. However, life is much more. As I've indicated earlier, it includes animals, plants, insects, and microcosms everywhere. It includes lakes and rivers and oceans. It includes the earth and the air. Yes, all of these are part of life. Earthbound philosophy is a concept based on the ancient Greek principles of macrocosm and microcosm. Macrocosm being the largest, or at the universal level, to microcosm being the lowest, or at the subatomic level. And this is a theory, earthbound philosophy is a theory that recognizes the repetition of patterns in the cosmos. And based on this philosophy, humans are seen as the sentient medium between the two worlds of the micro and the macro. We are a cell of Earth's body, and also we are an earth unto ourselves. We are a planet within a galaxy and a universe containing many Earths within it. The human body is a reflection of the Earth's body. Every individual is a miniature planet Earth and embodies all aspects of our living Earth. Every continent, country, ocean, river, sea, cell, bird, animal, plant, tree, mineral, pyramid, chakra, atmosphere, and all of the other aspects of life that we can call to mind are a magnificent are part of this creation that is reflected in the Earth's body. The reminder is what we do to the Earth, we do to ourselves. What we do to the Earth, we do to ourselves. Michael Beckwith offers us this healing blessing. And he says, silently repeat to yourself, I forgive myself for any ways in which I knowingly or unknowingly cause harm or hurt to any living being or creature. I forgive all. If you're feeling a little separate from nature, you may ask, what can I do to cultivate and nourish this relationship? Remembering that God is all, and all is life. What we do to and for our planet and for life, we do to and for ourselves. Both that which we call good and that which we call bad. Let us do that which is good, healing and wholesome of planet Earth and of all life, our human family, and ultimately for ourselves. What we do for ourselves is what we do for another. The way we treat ourselves is the way we teach others to treat us. Recall the opening quote from the Talmud. Every blade of grass has an angel that bends over it and whispers, grow, grow. And like the blade of grass, our inner guidance whispers, grow, grow. And so in our moments of quiet reflection, we listen for that whisper to grow. And this leads us to our personal practical application for the week. And I've asked our tech team to provide this for us on our screen. Take the time daily to observe and reflect and to appreciate nature around you. And an activity you may do is to notice your breath. Notice how you breathe. Notice the water you drink, the food that you eat. Unplug from technology and plug into nature daily. Create space for moments of connection. This is an example of how we listen for the whisper, that internal whisper that says, grow, grow. And our affirmation for the week is, I am one with all of life on planet Earth. Let us say this together. I am one with all of life on planet Earth. And I invite us now to pray together. So in this moment when I be still and when I pray, and I know that everything is in perfect harmony, everything is in perfect balance, and that all of the earth is responding to the all-prevailing presence of spirit, this one life, this one power. Recognizing the connection of all with this power, including myself, knowing that each one is an individualized expression of the planet Earth and all that involves it. We're all one with nature. And so I begin by giving thanks for my awareness of my connection with nature. And I forgive myself for those times where I may have, through my own ignorance, through my own lack of remembering my connection with spirit, that I have caused harm to another or I have caused harm to nature. And in forgiving myself, I can release and let go of any guilt. And remember that nature itself is very forgiving. We have evidence all around of the livingness and the aliveness of nature that has the ability to rebound from what is seeming areas of devastation. Now, I was reading recently that someone was preparing for a wedding. And this was an outdoor wedding in a meadow in a valley. And as they had everything set up and were waiting for the wedding party to begin, someone noticed that a mama bear and her 3 little cubs were walking up through the meadow. And everyone hurried inside, and the bear and her cubs walked straight down the aisle that had been set up for the bride and the wedding party and continued to go up into the forest. And the offering was that this was the path of the bear before we came. And so as we remember that there is life and there is energy before us that has led us, that we pause to appreciate its presence wherever it shows up and wherever it appears, because it is just reclaiming the path that it always travels. The same is true of our connection with spirit. The path that we travel, the path of learning that we choose to take to awaken within us our awareness of our connection with God, is that place where we listen to the whisper and we follow its guidance and we follow its direction. And so I am giving thanks this morning for places where people are gathering on their path of awakening, recognizing the truth that is revealing itself for and through each one, knowing that all paths lead back to this place that we call home, that we are passing through this journey and this experience that is called life. And I speak a word of blessing this morning for families that are experiencing transitions in their lives, for parents who have crossed from the seen into the unseen, knowing that their memories and their love is now non-local and can always be felt at any time and in any place. For other loved ones who have crossed through this veil, knowing that Spirit is guiding and directing them into their new awareness, into their new journey, as well as we are being guided. The ancestor spirit is connecting with us and guiding us. Those who are seeking right livelihood, whether it be right livelihood in the form of abundance that comes in the form of money or other substances, whether it is right livelihood in the terms of right housing, or for those who are living without housing, right and perfect accommodations that provide for their well-being, whether it is by choice or whether it is by other forces, knowing that all are cared for and loved for on the planet by this loving energy, this loving presence. Speak a word of blessing for those prayer requests that remain in our hearts, those that may have been written out and placed in our prayer chest here in the sanctuary, those that may have been submitted through an online service, or those that have been spoken to a minister or a practitioner or a dear friend, a close confidant, knowing that the answer is always yes, and that it is done unto us as we believe. And I am not here this morning to challenge our beliefs. I am here to encourage us to cultivate our belief and to recognize the oneness of all life as we respond to the call to honor and respect our planet Earth. giving thanks for this and so much more. I release this word back into the law, knowing that it is already answered with a yes and amen. And so I let go. I let it be. I know it is done. I know it is complete. And if any of this resonates with you in any way, I invite you to affirm it with me as we say, and so it is. Just as a reminder, for those who are part of our virtual community, it's an invitation to connect with a minister or a practitioner, to not carry with you a burden or to also express a joy. I always put this reminder in that as ministers and practitioners, we like to celebrate joyous occasions and events with you, as well as support you through those which are not joyful or not celebratory in the moment. And the contact information for the ministers and practitioners here at the Monterey Center can be found on our website at www.montereycsl.org. You may also find us in the newsletter, in our weekly e-blast. And we also partner with our Centers for Spiritual Living World Ministry of Prayer, and also with Silent Unity. And that information can also be found in our newsletter, in our weekly e-blast. So we invite you to take advantage of that. And so now it is our time for sharing of our abundance, our prosperity, and I offer these little nuggets to you each Sunday. Abundance awareness, generosity begets generosity. And the little nugget this morning is from Spiritual Economics by Eric Butterworth. And Dr. Butterworth writes, whatever you do in the way of investments, do it out of the consciousness of the divine flow. Keep yourself centered in God so you do not flutter like a flag in the breeze when the Dow Jones report is published daily. Keep your faith in the continuity of God's ever-present substance, no matter what the condition of the market in general or your stock in particular. And now I invite us to say together our statement of abundance here for the Monterey Center. I recognize the presence of God within as the source of my supply. Out of my abundance consciousness flows everything I could desire in life. With gratitude and thanksgiving, I now participate in the flow of uninterrupted abundance. This prosperous experience is evidence of my abundance consciousness. And for those who are here in the center this morning, if you would like to make a donation, we have our giving box that is on the hospitality table. For those of you who are joining virtually, you may contribute by mail, and our mailing address is on the screen. You may text to give, that number is on the screen, and you may also donate to our secure website, www.montereycsl.org. I think I have that correct. Thank you. Thank you, team, for supporting me. Thank you for our virtual community, both those who are part of our Facebook community and those who will be viewing our service on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. We invite you to join us next week as we continue our theme for the month of August, which is nature. And the message will be the water of life. We love you, we appreciate you, we thank God for you, and we will see you the next time you tune in.